Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tim here. So it's been about a week or so since the release of the new Little Mermaid trailer, so I've had some time to analyze it and to get my thoughts together for a review. This video does contain spoilers for the new trailer, so if you haven't seen it, you have been warned. And just to preface this review, none of these opinions are meant to harm or offend anyone. They are simply my own thoughts, and I'm a huge movie and book nerd, so I'm super excited to talk about this film with you. I'm also not going to be using any imagery or trailer footage, just so I don't cause any copyright issues. So instead, I'm going to be painting my own mermaid for you, which I had so much fun painting, and I'm excited to share it with you. So getting into the review, prior to seeing the trailer, we have all been anxiously awaiting any news or leaks about this movie, which they have been pretty tight-lipped and pretty good about not letting anything leak, which in the same vein has been kind of annoying because until the teaser trailer, we really had no idea what this movie was going to even look like. So I was cautiously optimistic after the teaser was released just because of Halle's vocals being so amazing, but this film as a child was one of my favorites, and after some of the other live adaptions, Beauty and the Beast, not being as great as it could have been, which we can talk about in another video, but this movie has sky-high expectations, and I have several concerns about adapting this material visually and the music into a live-action format. So the second thing I was really concerned about was the animals. I love The Lion King. It's one of my favorites, but I was not a fan of the live-action Lion King at all. In my own opinion, they came across just a little bit creepy, mostly because of the lack of any expression on their faces, and seeing human voices coming out of a real-looking animal that wasn't emoting just looked a little weird and stiff. So the last fear that I had was for Ursula, mostly for her look and for the delivery. I know no one will be Pat Carroll, and I'm completely okay with that. There have been several Broadway Ursulas that have been great, and I love Melissa McCarthy. I was just really unsure of how the two would mesh together. So anxiously, I awaited its arrival on Oscars night, and I have to say I was blown away. It was well worth the wait, so let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly. So starting off with the bad, which surprisingly, there's not much here. I feel like we haven't seen enough of this movie for me to make a criticism either way, which is an absolute shame because from what we saw, the filmography looks absolutely beautiful, and they have definitely succeeded in making it look like the animation, but new, and from the looks of it, it's going to be a huge scale movie. It's more criticism of the marketing. They have kept it so far under wraps, we just don't know much about it yet, which really helps to build the anticipation, but the movie comes out in about a month and a half, so we need more. Next, I want to talk about the ugly. Unfortunately, my fear with the animals was exactly what I was concerned about. While I think because of the voice acting just alone from the clips, I think we're going to be okay, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When Sebastian came on screen, it kind of gave me a jump scare when I saw him. I have a thing with spiders, and I know the original Sebastian was not the most realistic looking crab, but this one kind of looks like a giant red spider, and it really gives me the creeps. But his voice did sound great, and I was so excited that Daveed Diggs is voicing him. I love him. I just think about all of the stuffed animals as a kid and all of the Little Mermaid toys that, I had. And I know when I was a kid, if that Sebastian toy looked like that, I probably would have not wanted to cuddle or play with that scary red crab. I'm not so sure I loved Scuttle's design either, but I did love that they kept the scruffy feathers around their face, and I do love Awkwafina's voice, so I'm excited to see where she takes the character. Now, let's get to the good, which is what I am so excited to talk about. Literally everything else in this trailer was amazing. Halle's voice is easily already in my top favorite voices of any Disney movie. It is light and airy, and it has a floating quality that's powerful and siren-like, which is absolutely perfect for Ariel. The part of your world reprise, literally blew me out of the water, pun intended, and gave me the chills that the original version did. I absolutely adore Jodie Benson's version, and I love the Broadway adaptation, but this version of the reprise is probably my new favorite. Hallie's singing is just effortless, and it actually kind of is reminiscent of the Jodie Benson Ariel voice, and that to me was so special hearing. You can really tell how much work and love she put into it, and she was probably a huge fan of it as a kid. She is so cute, and she's very much gives me the essence of the character from the animation, and she is going to inspire and be a role model for so many new little kids, especially the ones seeing Ariel for the first time and having them get to experience that magic. It's going to be so incredible. And I definitely wanted to talk about her hair. So far from the scenes we've seen, it moves so beautifully underwater and just like the original. And I know so many people are complaining about her hair color not being red enough, but I actually like this shade better personally. I'm a huge fan of copper hair, and I think this more copper tone works better, especially with the color scheme of her new tail and top. I absolutely love the iridescent pink, teal, and blue shift they put on her green tail. And from what we saw of the costumes, the blue dress looked beautiful. And the scenes with Eric in the carriage and with Kiss the Girl in the boat, they look so vibrant and fun. And I was actually thinking about it the other day, something that may have really come into play on why they went more of a copper route with her hair than a true red. I'm a hairdresser, and almost every time that I do a red color, similar to that cartoon color or like a burgundy, it doesn't always photograph or film very well in lower lit situations. And it makes me wonder if that is partially a reason that went into changing the tone of it so it filmed better in lower light situations, because a lot of this movie is going to be underwater and isn't going to be lit very well. And it may have nothing to do with that, but it dawned on me that it may not have tested out very well. But the scene with the hair toss was straight out of the original, and the moment she lifted up onto that rock with the wave crashing behind her was absolutely a chef's kiss perfect. So far, the scenery and Eric's castle looked gorgeous and kind of reminded me of a castle from either Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, which I loved. I'd heard that they actually filmed a lot of it in Italy. Eric, Triton, and the sisters all looked great. The costuming was beautiful and looks amazing. And from what I'm assuming were just a couple shots from the Under the Sea music sequence, it looks like so much fun and was so vibrant. I can't wait to hear more of the music. I know I'm going to have this album on repeat up until the movie comes out. So this brings me last to Ursula, and I gotta say, I was very pleasantly surprised the direction they took it, which was a complete relief. No one will ever be Pat Carroll. She literally has one of the best, if not the best, Disney villain voice, and I have to say that Melissa's speaking voice sounded great. You know, we didn't hear any of Poor Unfortunate Souls yet, so that's yet to be decided, but the laugh they included was spot on, and I have been watching other people review this, and no one else has mentioned this. When they show Ariel going into the opening of the cavern, there are skulls lining the entrance to the cavern, which adds a whole nother level of horror and creep to it. And seeing Flotsam and Jetsam skulking in the shadows was so ominous and foreboding. The colors looked great, and the shots showing her over the cauldron and the spell, that purple and lime green, was a perfect nod to the original, and giving her the glow-in-the-dark tentacles was such a perfect addition to her character design. I was so surprised by it. But the animals aside, I think this movie looks absolutely incredible just from the trailer. It really brought back that feeling of nostalgia and magic that I haven't really gotten from any of the other live actions so far, and I can't wait to see this. So if you've seen the trailer and would love to comment on it, I would love to know what you think, but I ask that you please keep the comments kind and considerate. If you enjoyed this review video, I invite you to like, comment, and subscribe. I really am excited to do more of these, and I'll see you in the next video, friend.